Luffy, I am certain you're the last person to realize what you just realized. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Otaku Chris is Talking. This is your weekly One Piece Manga Review, and this is for chapter 884, the continuation of Luffy versus Katakuri. And oh yeah, it's been good. Oda, you've been treating us well, Oda, and I'm really happy about that. I do apologize for lack of last week's video. I've been going to loads of interviews and Comic-Con and Halloween and blah blah blah. Photos. Anyway, last week's chapter was super hype because we actually got to see Katakuri in a state that we'd never seen him before, and that's his actual whole face, and the fact that he had scars and that he was like pretty much like Big Mom's actual child. Like normally each one of the children seem like they're so unique, and then they have that one moment when you're like, oh yeah, you're Big Mom's son, yeah. And after that whole situation of Katakuri having this whole lunchtime thing and then Luffy breaking into the little house where he's having that thing, Luffy confronts him and stated at the end of the last chapter that he had figured out the secret to Katakuri's ability in fighting. Now, at the end of that chapter, I did think to myself, oh wow, I wonder what it is. And like, it's probably going to be something crazy. Oda really puts it in our face. It's kind of like, just because we know, it doesn't mean the main character knows. So in a way, it wasn't cheating, but it's kind of like we kind of knew that. We kind of realized that his observational haki was so on point that there is no way that you can beat him. And it's kind of crazy because once it got revealed, I was kind of like, wait a second, not once did Luffy know this. Why would Luffy know this? And of course, if Luffy didn't know this, of course it's going to be harder for him. And I also feel that he didn't go into Gear 4 just because he wanted to know more about his opponent, because obviously we do know that Gear 4 does drain a lot of stamina. It is his, like, by far his strongest form, and you don't want to be going into that when you don't know anything at all. So that's why it's kind of like one of those Goku, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z kind of moments where it's like, oh, well, you could literally just go straight up Super Saiyan, like not straight up Super Saiyan, that's like the first mode. Could end up going straight to like Super Saiyan God or whatever it is, what the highest level that he has at the moment. But the issue is like Goku's Goku. He's not really want to do that. Sometimes he wants to kind of just test out his strength, and sometimes he wants to see like what the person has. In this situation, I don't think Luffy was directly doing the same thing, because obviously Luffy's not in a position to decide whether he wants to test out their strength, but it is a good way to understand your opponent's technique and how they're fighting. So I feel like showing Luffy doing this shows development and growth with Luffy's character. So I'm happy that Oda has shown us this. Now, this chapter did have quite a few different points. The first act was pretty much the first half. I won't say act, but it was a fucking huge act. But the first act, let's say, with Luffy and Katakuri, that was awesome because the artwork looked fucking great. It was looking on point. I liked that Luffy was actually smarter. I liked the dialogue between Katakuri and Luffy. I like how Katakuri kind of confirmed, and you could see the stress in his face, and it also explained why at some points he was able to get hit. And it was like the more he got stressed, the less he was able to control his observational haki, and he needs a really stable mental state to be able to use that level of observational haki. But the level that he has it at, he needs to be extremely calm, to the point of where it makes sense of why he would always be kind of chilled, because it's like, raw, if you want to be able to pretty much see into the fucking future by a few seconds, you can't be stressed about anything. And it makes sense. Why would you be stressed? But hey, that's one of the things about that. So I liked that part there. It was a bit of development. It was a lot of plot progression as well, because this is the first time I can say that Luffy actually managed to hit Katakuri, and Katakuri even stated in this chapter that he doesn't even remember when was the last time he was hit. So not only is it plot progression for Luffy and Katakuri and character development, not only is it plot progression because we've now seen Luffy actually give Katakuri a hit, it's also character development because we didn't know this part of Katakuri. Now, we knew that his back has never touched the floor, but once you see the scars on his face and that, on the last chapter we was like, maybe you just got some really good hype men. Maybe you have some really good hype men, because there's no way you have those scars. My theory is Big Mom gave him that because Big Mom's a little bitch and she doesn't care who she's attacking. It's been shown right at the beginning of the arc that Big Mom will eat whoever, and as strong as Katakuri is, I guarantee you his observational haki is not gonna handle up to Big Mom's madness. Maybe dodging them or whatnot, but one swift bang or that's it. I'm gonna guess speed doesn't always work. So as I stated at the beginning, Luffy had pretty much understood and broken down Katakuri's ability, and the fact that when he was punching Katakuri, he was still able to kind of go through him. And it's kind of like, oh, wait a second, I can go through you. But when he does an armament haki as well, he literally, he can still hit Katakuri. So it's like, what is it with Katakuri? But Luffy didn't know that it was an observational haki, allowing Katakuri to be that one step ahead, and that's why it always seemed that he was in a different state. So Katakuri is pretty much doing loads of mind fuckeries, loads of mind games against Luffy, so that he didn't know what was going on. Us as readers, we knew this, and from like Katakuri himself, from Brûlé, and from the fucking manga itself. So I thought that was nice that we actually got to see the main character trying to do something that we know but he doesn't know. So that's in the next part of the chapter as well, we also got to see my boy Sanji cooking a cake, and it's pretty cool because we haven't seen him in a while. So it's kind of like, what's going on here right now? Whilst they're cooking, obviously, Sanji and Pudding have actually locked the doors and they're not letting anybody else inside. So the guards are trying to come in, and I think it was Commander Oven, like Charlotte Oven, basically, whatever his name is. But basically, he was trying to come in and was kind of like, why am I not allowed inside? Obviously, Sanji is inside, but Pudding had pretty much told all the people, subordinates outside, to tell her brother that I'm cooking right now and I need to make it perfect and in a nice, peaceful mental state so that I can make the perfect cake for Mum. And after that conversation, he actually fell for it and we kind of waited outside. During that point as well, we also got to see Brûlé trying to get in contact with Pudding as well, explaining to Pudding everything that's going on, what's happening with the Straw Hats and everything, not realizing Pudding is a good guy, I don't know, and that Sanji is with Pudding as well, so he was overhearing everything. But at the end, Pudding was actually kind of like, yeah, my brother Katakuri, he's never lost a fight, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't even know what's going to be happening right there. But then Sanji's like, well, this is the first time for everything. But that was really, really cool. And I'm happy that we got to see Sanji's loyalty, because obviously prior to this, Sanji's been all over the place, an emotional little bitch. So, and I'm saying that because I'm a Sanji fanboy, but he has been a bitch. We then cut to Jinbei at the very end as well, and they're basically trying to figure out what's going on with the sea slugs and why the sea slugs aren't chasing them. And it turns out that one of Jinbei's people forgot her name, so please don't butcher me. But if you do know her name, let me know down below, guys. But one of Jinbei's mermaid women people, whatever, was actually playing a flute or singing. No, I think she was singing, and you see the sea slugs kind of following her, thus kind of clearing the path for the Straw Hats and anybody else who wants to come in and out of the islands. So that's a really good way of utilizing the characters who have been in this arc and kind of just making them not fodder, because it's like we saw them for one chapter, but it's kind of like, where are they? But yeah, overall, this was a really, really good chapter. I like how Oda did things. I really like the art and the line work as well, mostly during the Luffy versus Katakuri fight as well, because we got to see how intense the fight was over a short amount of panels, and we got to see Luffy kind of develop, understand the situation, learn more about Katakuri actually getting flustered. Katakuri got hit. That in itself is a plot progression, and it seems that the plot is going nice and steady. So it looks like this fight may be ended soon, but Luffy's Gear 4th is the only reason why it's able to do that. Katakuri also states as well that he understands and sees why Cracker may have lost, but at the same time I'm like, bruh, nah, you're way better than Cracker. So overall, this is a really, really good chapter. I can't wait for next week's chapter. I was going to do a live review, but I was actually a live reaction, but I was in an interview. So literally, this is like the latest. Normally, I would have done this way sooner. But if you do enjoy my content, please do subscribe. If you want me to talk about a specific manga or anime or anything like that, let me know down below in the comment box. And if you have a AMA and ask me anything, then let me know as well. I do want to start doing those kind of stuff when we start getting regular views, but obviously this only depends on whether you guys actually even care or not. If you don't care, I don't care. If you do care, I'm gonna care so much. But I have an email. God damn, I get distracted way too easily. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Do subscribe for next week's video. And yeah, who do you think's going to win? Luffy, Katakuri? Obviously Luffy, but how is Luffy gonna win? Peace.